Hey, Ross Robertson with Big Water Fishing. I get asked all the time, what is a fish hawk? Simply put, it's a speed and temp probe. More importantly, you probably ask, why do I need it or what does it do for me? Well, obviously it's going to tell you your temperature at different zones, and at certain times of year that can be a huge thing, especially with species like salmon or steelhead, but also with walleyes, especially in the summertime. But the thing that I really like to use it for and where it's important for me is determining what my real speed is. And so your speed over ground, or the GPS screen that you have speed, is just going to be where you're moving with speed over ground. The real thing we need to know is where our lures are going, what the speed is, because your boat will actually dogleg, the current is going a different direction, and your lures aren't traveling the same speed as your boat is. It's kind of hard to understand, there's a lot of stuff going on there, but if you've ever caught fish like wildfire on one side of the boat and can't catch them on the other, or you're going extremely fast and you don't think you should be but catching fish, or very slow, chances are your speed is off. And in many cases, 6 or 7 tenths, which is the difference between catching and not catching for most of the walleye stuff that I do, or even salmon fishing. So here is the actual kind of the brains of this operation. This is the speed wheel. This is going to spin around and tell us what our speed is. This is all self-contained. This is the FishHawk X2 model. So we've got batteries here. It's all self-contained. And what I like to do to rig this up is I've simply just got a steel leader, and then I've got my weight. So I like the little torpedo sinker because it's a little smaller, little lighter profile, but using a sinker heavy enough that's not going to blow back, just like if you're using a downrigger. So this is going to help out a little bit when it's not necessary. You know, a pound or more weight is probably going to be required. Then the next thing we're going to do here is we've got my rod. It's basically just, this is a FishHawk rod, but you can use just about anything. Cut an old broken rod up or something like that. I prefer a line counter so I know how much line that I have out. And then I'm going to use some braided line with a really heavy duty snap swivel here. This is like a decoy style snap swivel, because we don't want this to break. If we do, we're going to lose the business end of this. So, but the nice thing about this is it's totally remote. So I can put this in my rod locker. You know, we've got like Chinese straws there. Kind of how this works out. A little bit of a handful to get on there, but we're going to put this in and just twist this, and that's going to allow this to slide up and down, because this is actually our receiver. So unlike the X4 model, we don't have to have anything mounted on the boat, which is what I really like. So the days I don't need it, it's completely out in a compartment. So we're just going to put that over here, put this in the rod holder, and I like to put it down, maybe not quite where we're fishing, but I like to have it down a little ways there, so we're not getting the surface speed. And then we're just going to wind this a little bit. So as you can see right here, we're at 55.3 degrees, where we're at 56 here on the surface. So just really, we're only maybe 10 feet down, but we've got that little bit of difference. And then we're picking it up now. We're about 13 true feet down as I dropped it. And as you look on the counter, we can see we've got a little bit of blowback. You can see that there's that probe coming up. So I want to keep that generally a little bit above. But here's the big thing. We're only about 2 tenths off. So we're actually, you know, roughly 2 miles an hour, where we say 1718 here. So we've got about 3 tenths of a mile an hour current. And that's really important, believe it or not, probably the most important on a flat, calm day like this, because you're going to see, you can't see the current, is what you can't see. So going certain ways, you guys have probably all, even though you don't know you have this problem, you go from west to east and just catch fish like fire, but you then turn around to go back through in a nice flat calm day like this from east to west and you don't catch anything. Chances are, if you have the FishHawk down, you're going to realize that your speed is totally different. So your lures aren't working the same, or if you have weights on, dipsy divers, anything that has a forced dive, those lures are going to be drastically shallower or deeper depending on what speed is off. So that's going to be a big difference. And I just drive right off of this. So when I have this down, I don't even look at my speed over ground. I'm looking right on the FishHawk, and I'm going to see we're doing 2.1 right now compared to 1.7, 1.8 on my speed over ground. 3 or 4 tenths can make a big difference. Don't be surprised when this is over a half mile an hour. The FishHawk catches you more fish, plain and simple, anytime you're on any body of water that has any current and you're doing any trolling.